watching NewsX. A day after being trolled on the internet for opposing Jallikattu ostensibly, actor Trisha has lashed out at all the trolls. In a series of tweets, she said, and I quote her now, "I'm shocked and mortified at the haters and the kind of filthy language that has been used just because you have free access to social media." Unquote. She also asked if disrespecting a woman was part of Tamil culture. Many celebrities have come in support of Trisha. Take a look at reactions.
First, she was trolled, then abused, and then threatened during her shoot. The self-styled custodians of culture attacking actor Trisha because she voiced her opposition to Jallikattu. And a day later, Trisha, taking to social media to voice her concern in a stinging attack, she made the Twitter trolls speechless.
Trisha has given a befitting reply to all those people stating that she has never made her stand on Jallikattu, and merely she is a brand ambassador of PETA, and questioned whether it is Tamil culture to disrespect and insult women.
From Sania Mirza to Muhammad Shami and now Trisha, the culture of hate being propagated on the internet becoming a cause of grave concern. And as the Jallikattu war spirals in Tamil Nadu, the latest casualty being an actor's integrity, the tradition versus animal rights debate now turning ugly with this misogynistic attack. Bureau Report, NewsX.
All right, we'll open our phone lines. Numbers are flashing on your screens. We'll also introduce one guest that is already with us. Rahul Ishwar joins us. He is an actor and an activist. We'll be joined by other guests in just a bit. But Rahul, let me start by asking you, anyone who seems to have a differing opinion from the majority, and majority can have many connotations here, seems to be getting a really raw deal, at least online. Trolls or haters, as Trisha calls them. They've heckled her only because she's PETA brand ambassador. She never spoke against Jallikattu. She never spoke a word against the tug of war that's happening between the central government, the state government, and Jallikattu supporters as well. Did she, first of all, deserve to be heckled and trolled and abused? And are all these people who are doing so weakening their own case?
We all respect and like Trisha. She's a great actress and a very good human being. But, you know, when you're a public personality, we should be extremely careful about any statement we make. But in this case, you know, I totally accept your argument that Trisha didn't make any statement, but it was widely reported. Or there was a rumor that there was a very culturally insensitive remark from Trisha Krishnan. Especially she being a person with Tamil roots, people were very hurt. See, when Kamala Hassan or great superstars like Rajinikanth come out in full support to Jallikattu, when a whole state and especially the entire South India is gearing up for supporting Jallikattu, any contrary opinion, of course nobody supports trolls, nobody supports abusers, but having said that, public personalities do have a responsibility to be culturally sensitive. And when they go about, and this is not majority or minority, this is the whole of Dravidian land. See, we Dravida are a region by ourselves. We believe in Indian nationalism, but we have a culture of our own. Supreme Court should be culturally sensitive. Even the stars who make comments should be culturally sensitive. This is the only minimal demand. And this is not an occasion to paint
Rahul Ishwar, when you say,
as red and black.
No, Rahul, let me come in here. When you say that, yes, we all like Trisha and she's well respected and so on and so forth, but you also say in the same breath that public personality should be careful about cultural sensitivities. Now, Trisha has not made a statement. She's not jumped into the discourse here. All she's done is, she's been brand ambassador for PETA, and PETA has written to the Prime Minister, to the President. They've been very vocal about it. She's expressed her concern for animal rights as well. Now, is that enough for anyone to have a license to abuse her, troll her, disrupt her shootings and threaten her? I feel that's unacceptable.
Nobody can support abuse. Nobody can support hate. But having said that, there is an element of sentiments which is involved. See, people, I don't know how far, people from North India or Delhi can understand the intensity of the moment here. That's the reason why, see, I'm a right-winger, but even a left-winger like Sri Kamala Hassan, who's a great actor, who's an atheist, who's a publicly known person who supports rationalism and scientific temper. But even Kamala Hassan ji understands the intensity of people. And see, we are all apologetic, especially we had many discussions regarding the abuse on Trisha. We are all apologetic regarding that. But having said that, there is a huge sentiment, and especially
I understand. Rahul, I've been covering this Jallikattu controversy and the sport of Jallikattu not just this year, because the controversy arose last year as well. So we are fully aware of the sensitivity involved. The sensitivity and the cultural aspect of it is not lost on anyone, least of all me. But when you say it in the same breath, saying that at the same time, people should be aware, she hasn't said anything against Jallikattu. Does she deserve such abuse online? Because I'll just quote to you, one second, Rahul, I'll just quote to you what she's written here. And she has a point. And this goes beyond cultures, beyond boundaries. She says, and I quote her now, disrespecting a woman and her family is Tamil culture, ? You should be ashamed to call yourself a Tamilian or even speak about Tamil culture. This is from her tweet. I believe she has absolutely hit the target bang on. If you disrespect a woman, I don't believe any culture, least of all Tamil culture, allows that.
That point is very true. Tamil culture takes, we always tell that about Amma Tangachi sentiments, or that means mother or sister sentiments runs very high here. It is unfortunate that somebody said that, but see, many a times, internet is a very free medium. People or public personalities, I believe, should not take it to heart, should take it in the stride, should take these kind of bad words and abuses. I believe they should be ignoring it. That's the only way around.
But isn't that dangerous, Rahul? Come on, Rahul, isn't that dangerous? You and I are fairly frequent users of the internet, and we've seen the kind of vitriol that is, shelled out there in the name of supporting one cause or the other, or one personality or the other. Don't you think that, fine, if you're getting trolled or abused by trolls online, but that's restricted to being online hate, I can understand it. But when people show up to disrupt her shootings, gets a physical threat to her being, then I believe it's taking it to a whole different level, which is quite unacceptable. Would you agree with that or not?
I mean, that's a fair point. Even an eminent person like Arun Jaitley ji once pointed out that online trolls or abuses, we should have a stomach for these kind of things, because these are inevitable parts of democracy. But having said that, that point is fair. We cannot go to an extent where we physically threaten or disrupt shooting.
That's exactly what has happened. That's exactly what has happened, Rahul Ishwar. And I'll also introduce my other guests who've joined us right now. Karuna Nandi is a lawyer, also an activist, joins us from Delhi. Dilip Cherian, Image Guru, and Ira Trivedi. She's an author. Thank you all for being with us. Rahul and I, Karuna, we were just talking about the kind of online hate and abuse and trolling that Trisha has received. And she, of course, has given a befitting reply to all these trolls. But even as Rahul Ishwar concedes that these trolls perhaps were misguided because Trisha did not make a single statement against Jallikattu. All she did was be a brand ambassador for PETA, which has petitioned the Prime Minister and the President. Does it allow or give anyone license to troll somebody who hasn't even professed a statement on Jallikattu here? It's just looking for soft targets, and Trisha, being a woman, unfortunately stands, it's more risky. It's riskier for her because her shooting was disrupted. She was threatened as well. She's obviously since then tweeted out her response here. But does, in the name of Jallikattu, abusing people who haven't even picked up a fight here for or against Jallikattu, is that fair at all?
Here that this is just an excuse to try and bully a woman who is trying to express an opinion, even whether it's against Jallikattu, whether it's not against Jallikattu, is completely irrelevant. And this is the point that Rahul Ishwar and others, other sort of self-appointed guardians of what people should say and what people should not say, including the trolls, are missing, unfortunately, you see. Now, the point is, if she had opposed it, if she has not opposed it, because she's a woman, a whole bunch of people think that they are entitled to shut her down, that they are entitled to even approach her shooting. And there is this sort of ridiculous patriarchy here. And because of this, I think that, time after time after time, we see Twitter's terms of abuse being violated and Twitter doing nothing about it. And I understand that it's difficult, and I understand that there are, so you have millions of tweets in real time, and but their mechanisms have to be a lot better, firstly. Secondly, the conversation cannot be about what she said and what she didn't say, because regardless of what she said, if she was a strong opposer of Jallikattu, right, then she still has the right to say that.
Absolutely.
And the fact that she has thanked the police seems to indicate that the police reacted in a correct manner. And I think that, these people sort of putting out some kind of message that, oh, she didn't even oppose it, it's nonsense. It's irrelevant.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you there. Dilip Cherian, very quickly, then trolling is a problem. It's becoming a menace. Dilip, as far as India is concerned, it's a menace worldwide for sure. We all remember how Hillary Clinton was trolled for wearing what she wore, and of course references to what she wore on her and what she did otherwise. The scene with Trisha is very clear. As Karuna said right now, even if she had come out or opposed Jallikattu or was in favor of Jallikattu, it wouldn't have mattered. As Karuna said right now, even if she had come out or opposed Jallikattu or was in favor of Jallikattu, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered. She was targeted nonetheless.
It's not about, I don't think it's about cultural sensitivity or issues of any of this kind. I think it is a sense of male entitlement to attack a woman, find an issue to hang her is the basic idea. So I think there is a real issue as far as social media is concerned. It's got nothing to do with one medium or the other. It's got to do with a very prevalent patriarchal attitude. Karuna was saying just now. I think there is that, and also the impunity with which people are able to do this and get away with it. So I'm glad that the police have acted, and I'm sure that if it is rightly handled, there ought to be some way of tracing the worst elements of this and making an example of them, because this is not about freedom of expression. She, as an actress, she's allowed to sort of portray her love for animals or her support of PETA. It's got nothing to do with that. And Jallikattu is definitely a social issue, but that doesn't mean that you get about attacking people who support it. You can obviously speak out against them, but you don't speak out about the person.
Absolutely. Rahul Ishwar is shaking his head. Before I go to Ira Trivedi, I want Rahul to come in here. I believe you have a difference of opinion here, Rahul. We seem to have lost Rahul at that very moment. Ira Trivedi joining the program as well. Ira, I just want to highlight one thing. If it was anyone else, and look at the responses coming in, I want to highlight what Kamal Hassan, who's a big supporter of Jallikattu, although he is, of course, avowedly rationalist thinker and sort of an agnostic figure as far as Tamil stars go. His first tweet, of course, was condemning all those who were trolling Trisha. Let's not hurt her, he says, just because she differs from our opinion. We need both Trisha and Jallikattu. Let's continue to contend with love. But immediately after, he comes out and says, my support is always for decency. Let individuals be. Don't weaken our case. Leave small people alone. Fight decision makers. Even in this particular tweet, Kamal Hassan seems to be suggesting that anyone who has a difference of opinion, these are small people. Don't waste your time with them. I'm not sure he is in the right, he has the license to call anyone small or big, first of all. But do you sense a hint of condescension there as well in the second tweet?
Yes, absolutely I do. But, again, I don't want to read in too much about into his tweet, because sometimes it can be taken out of context. Maybe he didn't know what he was, the way he used this particular word in this sentence was accurate. So I don't want to make a judgment on Kamal Hassan's tweet, because his previous tweet seemed to me quite legit, and he says that let's all be decent people, let's not, make comments, which I think is completely the way to go. He's a very, very well-respected, revered star almost, and he does have a certain role to play in all of this, and I'm glad that he came forward. I'm not going to look too deeply into his tweet of calling small or big, because the rest of the tweets to me seem to be in a positive light. But the point that I want to make here is that what we're seeing happen is quite common about women being trolled online. It's easier to troll them if they're known, if they're celebrities, but they get it all the time. I get it all the time. If it's about what I'm wearing, what I said, people come and make all sorts of nasty comments constantly. And I feel that just like we have traffic laws, if you go out onto the road, you drive your car a certain way. If you take the metro, you take the metro a certain way. If you're standing in queue to withdraw money from the ATM, you behave in a certain way. There's a certain civic sense that we all behave in, and we all relate to, and we all adhere to. If we all stop behaving in this civic sense, society would be completely, it would be a mess.
But you know, and I
so
know,
I do think there needs to be
worldwide,
a civil sense
not just
online,
Twitter, but in the entire online community. It's not very easy to regulate, first of all, or even get these trolls
and there needs
or
to be,
online haters.
yes, absolutely, and we need to be able to monitor these more carefully. Yes, and this is a very easy way for people to come up if they're hiding in a virtual world, and they come up and they say these things, But I do think that, Twitter needs to step in, Facebook needs to step in and try to stop this.
Okay,
we need to monitor all this stuff
wants to
really
make a
carefully.
point.
All of these people are making billions of dollars, millions of
Facebook's much
dollars.
better
So I
than
think
Twitter.
there needs
Yes,
to be a way
absolutely.
to
Dilip wants to make a point. And I have a feeling, Dilip, that this is harking back to the patriarchy argument you made. And I believe
until we get a certain kind of a civil
Ila,
sense.
give me a second. Ila, give me a second. Dilip Cherin first, then Karuna. Dilip, go ahead.
Yeah.
I think this is not about just policing the internet. It is about coming to terms with the fact that there is this huge dissonance between what the male feeling is and the fact of entitlement about wanting to, needing to, and getting away with abusing women on any basis whatsoever. And I think we have to face this squarely. This is where our society has now reached. So the fact that you have the ability to hide behind a pseudonym or an anonymous handle is only exacerbating the issue. The issue is that you have built and are living today in a society where this kind of expression is condoned for either cultural reasons or for aesthetic reasons or for reasons of any kind of hate. So the freedom with which you can express your hatred towards women, a kind of violent misogyny, is something that we have to recognize.
Absolutely.
And it has come forth and burst into the public domain because of the freedom with which you can do it in so many social media.
Now, Karuna, that's the point exactly, isn't it? It's patriarchy and misogyny at the heart of the issue. If it was anyone else who happened to be a woman, any other issue except for Jallikattu, I believe the result would have been the same.
I think that's absolutely right. And I also think that it's very important to recognize that there are a number of tools at the disposal of anyone who is against this sort of misogynist and violent, or these threats of violence, showing up at a thing. Some of the tweets I've seen constitute criminal intimidation. And so I think it's very important to remember that women who do wish to make police complaints can, under Section 503, where they are being threatened, make those police complaints. If there are sexually colored remarks, there are criminal provisions for that, and complaints can be made. And I think increasingly complaints should be made in these particular situations. Right?
And that, of course, is the right way of going about
it. Where it is not against the criminal law, and where they violate terms of service, Twitter must take action. But I think most importantly, counter speech is something that is particularly effective against this kind of hate speech and this kind of misogynist hatred. And, I have done this a number of times, and I wish, and I think a lot of other people do it, and I wish a hell of a lot of more people who are watching and are on these social media platforms would do this, that where you see a woman being bullied because she has put a view out, speak up, counter the person, make jokes about them if you like, shut them down in terms of, shut the bullying down. And I think that does not happen enough.
All right, the resistance, so to say, if I could make an analogy to Nazi Germany, the resistance, online resistance is what is needed.
Counter
here.
speech, I would say.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Rahul Ishwar back with us. And before I start wrapping this up, Rahul Ishwar, you wanted to make a point before we lost your connection. Please go ahead, make that point. Then I'll start getting closing remarks.
Just 2 lines. Let
Yes.
us not get caught up in cliches. Misogyny and Nazi Germany are very unfortunate words. No, please don't even think of comparing Nazi Germany to India, because India is one of the oldest.
I was comparing
civilizations.
Nazi
We are very
Germany to the
inclusive.
online world, sir.
Yeah, I agree. But we concede that there might be some people among us who are a bit hot-headed, who do some extra overzealous reactions. But let us, as Kamala Hassanji rightly pointed out, let us not lose sight of the cause. There might be some people who go overboard, but having said that, this is a matter of intense cultural sensitivity. If somebody has overreacted, nobody accepts that. But people should, on the other spectrum, should remember the intensity of emotion, the intensity of passion.
No, but
that
what is that
running so
argument,
high in
Rahul
Tamil
Ishwar?
Nadu.
What has Trisha said? She hasn't said anything. She's just a member of PETA. Is that her crime?
I concede. I concede your point. But having said that, see, PETA, with all
Is
great
Rahul
respect, is
Ishwar saying that the
unnecessarily
Supreme Court
intervening
does
and
not have
meddling
adequate
in our
cultural
affairs.
sensitivity?
So some people who might be overzealous
Is
might
Rahul
have
Ishwar saying the
overreacted. I
Supreme Court
concede
should
that
keep
point.
quiet because they banned Jallikattu?
See, banning Jallikattu is a very sensitive issue, madam. Let us not go overboard. Give us regulations and restrictions. Jallikattu can be issue, madam. Let us not go overboard. Give us regulations and restrictions. Jallikattu can be done. But
But sir, if it is a
outright
sensitive
banning is
issue, the court has
anti-democratic.
decided that it be banned. If anyone is to speak up in support of the judgment, are you saying that they cannot speak up in support of the judgment because
Please do,
it is
please
something
do.
that is sensitive culturally?
Please do.
I'm
But
sorry,
please
this
remember,
argument has
people
got absolutely no water.
Okay, I just want to
People
come in here.
overreact because
I just
there
want to
is
come
that
in
much
here and I
passion
point
there.
out a very apparent irony here. The irony here, and all my guests will perhaps agree with me, there is currently a ban on Jallikattu. A Supreme Court put injunction which makes it illegal for Jallikattu to be held in Tamil Nadu. For the past 2 weeks, we've seen even the state chief minister saying that first he will hold Jallikattu. Now, perhaps better sense has prevailed. He has expressed his regret. The government will not be complicit in holding Jallikattu here. But now, as after the Trisha episode happened, protesters, several Jallikattu supporters are demanding a ban on PETA itself, on an organization that is an animal rights organization just for being an animal rights organization. Now, does that make any sense, Rahul Ishwar? Ira Trivedi, closing comments to you, and I'll try to go to Dilip if I have time.
No. Yeah, absolutely not. In fact, this response is despicable. It's pathetic. It just shows, an absolutely regressive mindset. I'm really ashamed right now, on just for our nation in general. I just want to say that, Dilip had some great points about patriarchy, and absolutely that's the root cause of it. But patriarchy is going to take a while to go away. Until then, we need to find stopgap solutions. So women are not targeted. Women are safe, online and offline both. And we need to take this very, very seriously. And, talking about banning of PETA, which is a worldwide organization, which does so much to help animals, on the back of such a, basically misogyny and patriarchy,
Right.
is deeply disturbing to me.
And
I
I just
really
have
do
30
hope
seconds
that
left.
our
I just want to
political
squeeze
leaders
in
and our
one
media
question
steps
for
in
Dilip,
and
if I
really
could.
tries to
Just
Yeah.
one question for Dilip, 30 seconds, Dilip. The fact is, at the heart of it, like you correctly mentioned, is a deep sense of patriarchy, a misogyny, but there's also the fact that people behind the desk feel they have they have a shield against all these people they're abusing. This is what happened to Mohammed Shami, it happened to Sania Mirza, it happened to many others, it's now happening to Trisha.
Yeah.
I think Trisha is really getting the raw, the raw force of misogyny and of anonymity. But what is worse is that we are living in a society which finds excuses for these people. In one case, it is about, oh, you are a supporter of Pakistan, or here you are a supporter of PETA. Tomorrow you'll be a supporter of air pollution, and therefore you've supported some other thing. So any reason is good enough to heap abuse and get verbally violent with a woman. That's the kind of society we are talking about. And that is a frightening situation. And I think unless we hear more voices of women coming out and rejecting this outright and making noises which are in support of the very women who are being trolled, we are heading in the wrong direction.
Absolutely. I say more men should come out and act at least online if they see a woman being trolled online. The resistance, of course.
They should too.
Absolutely.
They should too. Absolutely.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Karuna Nandi, for joining us. Ira Trivedi, Dilip Cherian and Rahul Ishwar. We'll take a very quick break right now. Up next is a special show hosted by my colleague Priya Sega.